is you're surrounded by dudes that were already fully submerged into the streets. When they see you, they're like wolves. Just because you may dress like a wolf, try to bark like a wolf, but you nothing but a sheep in wolf's clothing. Wolves know something doesn't smell right, that's your ass. Shout out to Broken Home Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and tune in.
What's your thoughts on banging these days versus when you were growing up? It's a whole different world now.
Oh, the culture is definitely watered down today, man. A lot of it wouldn't fly back in 95, 83, or 76. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff that you see what the millennial bangers are doing, it's not like what the OGs used to do. Now, don't get me wrong, you still got a few that still obey the protocol going forward, but you have a lot of people that have the misconception on what the gang is for. So a lot of the times you see all these rappers, they're being extorted by gangs because they want to look like a gang member, but they're not really a gang member. And what they don't understand is when the gang is going to use them, that could be any organization, but I'll just use this one. You're familiar with the rainbow-haired Mexican who goes by the Alamar of Tekashi 6ix9ine. When you look at him, his name is Daniel Hernandez. So when you look at a character like that, he's a good, wholesome kid at heart that was in Catholic school or some shit like that, prep school. He was with the suit and the tie, the khakis, the uniform and everything. Yeah. He doesn't come from a hard, upbringing. The guy just decided that, I'm going to troll people. I'm going to put this facade, this character on, and it's going to catch and spread like wildfire. But what he doesn't realize is you're surrounded by dudes that were already fully submerged into the streets. So when they see you, they're like wolves. And wolves, just because you may dress like a wolf, you might try to bark like a wolf, but you are still not a wolf. It's nothing but a sheep in wolf's clothing, the reverse. Like, wolves know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure throughout any country in the world, everybody got wolves. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that they look at is how you smell. If something doesn't smell right, that's your ass.
If we take it back to your relationship with your parents, you were 5 or 6 when you seen your dad leaving the house. How did that affect your mother? How did your mother hold it down after that?
Oh, my mom was putting in overtime at Metro. She was really going out here. She was asking for favors, exchange, like money was given to her. She would pay people back, and she was doing a lot of overtime. She was even the Avon lady at one point. You remember Avon?
I remember Avon. Avon calling.
Yeah, Avon was a big thing in the 90s. That was before Mary Kay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she did Avon, the door to door?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be like you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get dressed. I go to the babysitter. You go to the site no later than 5:15 on the dot. You're on the loading pad, picking up people from 6 in the morning to 5 in the evening. Then right after that, you're going home. You're like leaving the Metro uniform, putting on your suit, your blouse, your high heels, and then you're going to like these meetings for the callings for Avon, and they're telling you what they got for sale for the catalog and stuff like that. Back then, you could probably practically buy anything from Avon.
Yeah, my mom did the same thing. I remember being a little kid picking toys out of that Avon catalog.
All the VHS tapes, like, that would cost $14.95, like, get them for like $7.95. Like, oh yeah, Christmas came early.
Yeah. Was your mother ever hard into the drugs as well then?
She was on drugs primarily in the 80s when she got messing around with my dad. So my dad threatened her one day, was like, stop doing the drugs because she was pregnant with me. By the time I was born, my mom, you would have never known she did drugs if she never told you. It's that level of recovery that it's like when you put her up against my dad, it's like night versus day. And the real like strangest thing was my dad worked for Metro first when she worked for NASA. She used to work in the like I want to say in the early well no in the late 70s, early 80s. She was working as a records filer for NASA when they fly the rockets up.
Yeah.
She was the
Yep.
lady at the she was at the lady at the desk. They used to have the phones like how we got right now where we're video calling each other on Skype. They had a version of Skype in the late 70s.
Wow. Look at NASA. That's
I mean, yeah.
cool.
So it's like once she did that for a couple of years. When she got with my dad, he introduced her, like he picked her up in a bus. That's classy, right? She recognized my dad from the neighborhood, and once she left my sister's dad, because my sister's dad and my dad were actually tight. They were friends at one point. Me and my sister are 12 years apart. So, once she got, divorced from my sister's dad, she got with my dad, and my dad showed her how to get her CDL. Then she took the classes for herself, you know, much later, and started driving the bus full time. But she thought my father was going to go back to Metro. He never did after he started doing those drugs.
Did he ever go back to work at all?
I remember one time she took us down to like McDonald's, and we was like, "There goes your pop." I'm like, "Hey, Dad, what's going on?" It was good to see him in uniform again. You know, he was looking, different, man. He wasn't sick. Still had all his weight, like everything. He was muscular. So it was good to see him in uniform making a living. And, there was nothing wrong with getting a job at McDonald's, man.
Yeah,
Nope.
man. It's no shame
It's
in
just
making money for yourself.
like at all. And I think it's like when you look at the paradigms and the shift, it was like my mom went from the person who always had something. And then when my dad got around her and started showing her something, things became different, you know. So my mom actually excelled. And when she did that, that's when everything changed, man. Everything.
Trey, in your youth growing up, what kind of run-ins did you have with law enforcement?
One of my most memorable ones was one day a couple of guys from my neighborhood was like, "Bro, you ain't about to do nothing to the police, bro. You can stop saying fuck the police if you ain't gonna do shit to the police." I said, "So cool." So I took a water bottle, waited for the first police car that I saw, and I beamed it at him. Got there. I mean, bro, if you saying this fuck the police, let's do it. This big gangster, let's do it. I was trying to get locked up. Not I know that sounds radically insane, but if I get locked up and I get a stripe or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna wear that shit with a badge of honor because now it takes away your ability to stop coming at me like I'm some soft ass dude.
Yeah, man.
I learned two lessons that day. One, if you do some crazy shit like that, you are on your own. You do not have no friends. Because the guys that go to me into doing that weren't Crips. Surprise, surprise, right? So it's like you on your own, bro. It's like they was like they didn't point the finger at me. They just said, "Hey, bro, you on your own, bro." Like you know what I mean? Like you did this dumb shit. This is on you. So my whole thing was the cops, of course, looking at me like, "What does this brat want?" You know what I mean? So they get out. They start poking their chests out, walking up towards me, telling me to sit down. I'm like, "Fuck the police." You know what I'm saying? Like they looking at me because these are two white cops. They're like looking at each other like, "What the hell? What the hell is going on?" I ain't gonna lie, I was an asshole. I did it for no reason. I did it because I wanted these guys to stop coming at me like I'm soft. And and then it was like when the black officer pulls up, he's super serious. He was like, "I'm only gonna tell you this once. Sit." So I look at him like, "You too." My friend, they're like, I'm not even gonna call it my friends. I'm gonna say the guys that I thought was my friends was looking at me like, yo, chill. Just do what he says. Like, police back then and they was famous for killing cops. So for me to do this is like really saying I do not care about my life or my freedom. 15 years old, I just wanted to prove a point amongst my bullshit peers at the time.
And
I
did
mean,
you
I
prove
forgive
it?
him now. I mean, this is the flip side of that. I'm thinking, soon as the black cop gets me to sit down, he crosses my legs, yeah, tells me to put my hands behind my back. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get my strike, man. Like they put that feeling of when he puts the handcuffs on you. Like for me, this felt like a real nigga now. Can't say I don't want to hear nothing. Next time I come on the street, give me my motherfucking respect. You know what I'm saying? So they load me into the car like a dumbass. I'm in the back seat and I'm just like super geeked to go to jail. And we're about halfway down the road. He radios, he was like, hey, bro, y'all go ahead. I'm gonna meet you at the station. That's what the officer does. So then he was like, so he just on the steering wheel, like, so you think you Billy Badass, right? You think this makes you something? I said, hell yeah. After the day, should I get my stripe? I ain't trying to hear nothing that nobody got to say. So that's when we get halfway down the road. We passing. He's about to take me to DC jail. He stops in mid trip on Suitland Parkway, and he was like, "So," and he turns the car off, looks back at me like, "So you think you going to jail is what's going to make you valid?" He paused, looked at me like I was retarded, and then instead he did a U-turn and he went right to my mom's house, dropped me off, take me out of the handcuffs, put his hand on my shoulder like, I'm giving you a break, man. You're gonna thank me later for this. Moms, I don't know where the animosity came from, but you gotta do better than this, man. Otherwise, the next time I'm really gonna take him down and put him in the shitter.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Now the shitter is where he's gonna put you a 15-year-old kid, you a teenager, he's gonna put you in there with grown men if you do it next time. Now, the officer, through the grace of God, didn't hit me with a missile charge. Now, a missile charge is when you take any projectile that you hold in your hand, it don't matter if it's a quarter, a bottle of water, a shoe, a hat, you throw anything, or even a DVD, you throw anything at an officer, that's considered a missile charge. That's a federal offense. He showed me, you ain't got no friends, but the only message in my head was, nah, they would have had my back if they was Crips, though.
Mhm.
Because another situation that happened with law enforcement was this is the winter time, so everybody has ski jackets on, and it's like, whatever the reason was, it was like a regular batch of guys from another neighborhood that wanted to be like, man, get out of my city. We don't got Crips in my city. We don't do that West Coast shit. So my homie behind me was like, man, if you cuz on a set, boom. The golden rule with the gang is one swing, we all swing. So now we swing on that dude, and out of nowhere, we fighting like 10 guys in red North Faces. And then all we remember seeing was Metro Transit police at the top coming down with batons, guns, and flashlights. We all scattered like they ran that way, we ran this way. Everybody in the blue, in the black, we went this way. Everybody in the red, they ran the opposite way. And those guys wasn't even Bloods. It was only like two guys that was Bloods. Everybody else just liked the color red. They was fighting all Crips. So this shit was ridiculous. Being chased, bro, when they throw the smoke grenades, oh man. Everybody's like hauling ass out the metro, just gate hopping, just running, like running. We didn't give a which direction we went, as long as nobody got caught. And later, and we all like laid in the house for like 6 days, and we skipped school, man. We was not going back to school for 6 days. Like, fuck no. So it was like everybody was like, we didn't have Xbox 360 just yet, you know. So it was like it's a snow day type shit. So it's like nobody's coming out. Hey, we ain't hanging out, bro. If it's not a party filled with bitches and we ain't about to get no pussy, like what's the point? We're not coming outside. I'm riding with the homie. We got two straps in the car. We got coke and we got weed, and we just came from a run. You know what I'm saying? And we riding back to my house. On the way to my house, I got to drop him off anyway. So the state sheriff, two cars with a regular squad car and the sheriff's car pulled behind us. They pulled behind us. I shit you not. We're like, oh shit. He was like, hey, look, man, I'm about to stuff this. Don't say nothing. I'm gonna have a lawyer. We're gonna be out by tomorrow morning. I'm like, cool. So I pull over. I reach for the glove compartment for my registration. I show my license, and I roll down the window, and I put on the world's most fakest practiced Oscar award winning smile ever. And it's a female officer. Now this bitch was like super turned up. Like you could always tell the rookies, their first day in the field, you could tell the new people off bat. So she was just like, excuse me, I need your license and registration. I said, here you go, man. Oh, you are super comfortable. Like you're confident, aren't you? I said, ma'am, I'm just cooperating. You asked me for my license and registration. Here you go. Get out the car. Get out the stuff. Get out the. And then like the sheriff comes up over there. Hey guys, I'm just sit tight real quick. I'm just about to run your license plates. Let me see your registration. Thank you. Let me see your ID. Forgive her. She's new from the academy. She's fresh. You know, just hold tight. So he goes back. He reads the tags, and then he says, "Have you been issued a repair order for your back tail light?" I said, "Yes, I have. You know, I get paid next week, so I'm gonna handle it." Okay, here's your stuff. You guys are free to go.
And she wanted to fucking pull the gun. She was looking for an excuse.
Yes, bro. Like she was clutching. It's like, bro. So it's like sometimes when cops are extra, bro, you already know you're getting off. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. We should have been put away for like at least like a good 15. I know a lot of people are not really lucky, but I wouldn't call it luck. I'm gonna just call it God's plan. It was some things work out in my favor like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, bro, like it just be like the problem that people do is you never talk with your hands when you're talking to the police. That gives them probable cause to actually search the vehicle. If you talk to them like you have sense and not with animosity, they most likely don't have a problem with you. They're not going to search you. But that's not guaranteed because sometimes they might still search. The biggest important lesson I learned in life was do not be extra. You don't have to be extra. You don't have to be Crip Mac like, cuz on 55th Street. You don't have to do all that, cuz. Listen, you good, my nigga. You good. You good. All that extra stuff is going to get you taken out in the game. You don't have to.
What's your opinion of these internet Crips right now, like Blueface, Crip Mac, that are doing all that extra shit?
I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, if you're from that neighborhood, really are from that neighborhood, you have the right to express yourself however you see fit. So if you're extra, just remember to keep that same extra because that puts you at risk to be tried by anybody. A guy from Canada can whoop your ass. A guy from Japan can whoop your ass. A guy from DC can whoop your ass. A guy from South America, from Brazil, can whoop your ass. Just remember, you got people like that may want to test you. So when you extra and you put on this persona, you got to be that way all the time if you're going to be like that. You can't select the politics. You can't say, well, I'm not going to fight this guy from Destiny Vision, but I'll fight these guys from Broken Home Podcast. Like, no, you can't do that because somebody's going to test you.
Yeah.
So for me, my best advice for any of these guys that want to have a prominent career and they want to last long, when you're not extra, you'll actually go farther in life. And when you don't, you know what I'm saying, do the most, you actually gain the most. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things can really be avoided. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people make mistakes by bragging, you know, about like, oh, you in the car with the shooters, you in the car with the hardest. You know what I'm saying? If I was in the car with Crip Mac and Brick Baby or Blueface, I'm like, hey, y'all, and even G Perico, we all in the car together. Hey, look, bro. I'm like, hey, cuz, I'm not going to say cuz too much. I'm going to say, bro, I'm not talking with my hands. I ain't bringing no extra shit down upon us. Right now, we are 5 gangsters thick in this vehicle. And we're trying to get to and from our destination with no extras. If you look at 90% of the rappers now, they're dying because they're being extra.
Yep.
Like, look at this Quavo. Look at Quavo's, what was it, Takeoff? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at that situation, they lost a whole family member. They lost a guy that they called their brother, like Offset. You know what I mean? Like, they're never going to get the Migos back, bro. It's not the Migos no more.
No.
So and he died from a dice game. It didn't have shit to do with him. So just imagine, like, in these risky environments that you're taking, like you're anywhere in the world, no matter where you come from. I don't care if you come from West Bubblefuck. You know what I mean? Like, gotta keep your head on sharp at all times, bro. Like, because you don't know who can be on the same time as you. You might run into a group of guys that might be on the same energy as you. You got to be ready for it. But real recognizes real.
Before we wrap this up here, we always ask our guests to give a positive message to the youth that maybe came up the similar situation that you did or could relate to your story similar. What would you have to say to those kids or those youth or anybody listening?
For everybody listening and for the youth and for the kids, please make wiser decisions. Live by the golden rule. If you love yourself and you love the people around you, you will continue to be around, and for those people to also be around, to not go down the wrong path or make these risky decisions with ramifications that might cost you your freedom or your life. Unless you are really prepared to say fuck it all and you want to do the time and go sit down, or unless you want to be your last day that you get a chance to hug your loved ones or your mother, I wouldn't act extra. I wouldn't be extra. I would just be straight up, straight and narrow, and I wouldn't try to like overstep my boundaries of anything, of any situation. I would not try to escalate anything. We're losing too many people every day, man. And a lot of the stuff can easily just be avoided.
Yeah, 100. Where can the people find you at? Do you have a social media account that people can follow you at?
Yeah, I'm at 3100_avenues_originals. Thank you guys so much for having me on your podcast. Shout out to Broken Home Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and tune in.
Right. Thanks so much for coming on, Trey.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again because we got so much more we can get into, bro. So much more we can get into.
Yeah, it sounds like you got stories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got chronicles, man.
Yeah.
Broken Home Podcast, everybody. You heard the man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and drop us a comment. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, y'all. Salute.